Okay, hello everyone. So today we're going to go through your system checklist to get you ready for spring. This is just a quick run through of what to prepare for. Is your system working for you? And this is telling, so some things to think about as you prepare for spring, and also do an audit on your current system, what's working, what's not. Before we dive into spending on your marketing or ad campaigns, etc., which we do really well in helping you drive that market budget further with those systems that can handle those leads correctly. So I'm going to go through this system really quickly here with you. So the first question is are you ready for spring lead surge? So this is where we dive through, protect your systems, build them out, and do an audit here. So we're going to go through a checklist. Um, Spring doesn't create chaos, it reveals it. And that's one of the telling things in springtime. A lot of my customers in the springtime or winter time go through a re-audit, a revise, build, and get ready for spring. So if you didn't do the work in the winter time, um, this is the time to go through and check right before we launch our systems here for summer. So spring is telling. So let's dive in. And again, this is Lucy Davis here with Her Drive AI. We build automation systems. We're a SaaS company for service-based industries, home service, and contractors. So, like I said, spring doesn't create chaos; it reveals it. Um, so right now, if leads increase or your phone starts ringing, um, what will happen with your current system? Will cracks start to show, or will you be able to handle those smoothly? So this is telling, and one of the things to check through is your response time. Is it slow? Follow-ups get inconsistent, or your owners go reactive, which is really telling because it's pressure and stress on you, whereas everything has to go through you or it needs a manual touch. So those are some of the things to think about as we're building this out. You really want a well-oiled machine that can respond quickly within 5 minutes. That's the goal. And be honest. So if someone called your company right now on your Google phone number, or filled out a form on your website, how quickly would they get a response? And what does that look like? So do your audit on that. Um, I'd recommend within 5 minutes. I mean, if you get a lead comes through, um, phone call or text, you want them to get an email, a text message, a phone call, um, and then kind of go through that follow-up. So that's what we want to audit there. So these are like we mentioned, I dove ahead of myself here. But spring search stress test. So that's what we're talking about there. It's every call captured, every respond within 5 minutes, pipeline instantly visible, and then team knows priorities, customer feels informed. So those are the things to think about right now. Um, well, every call, every text, anything. So you think of the funnel, how quickly is your response on that? Is it within 5 minutes? And is it organized to where it's a clean pipeline? You can keep track of everything and you have the information in the palm of your hands. That's the goal. So go through that. And then does your customer get a follow-up email right away, informing them that, keeping them in the loop? So those are the things to check out. Busy season doesn't reward hustle, it rewards infrastructure. And I can't stress that enough. Hustle, I am a recovering workaholic, and I know that firsthand. Working 14-hour days sometimes when I launched my business, and firsthand knowing what hustle can do. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about hustle. We need it at times. But long term, for success in your business, you need to have structure to keep you sane. I'll tell you a story too. I had a business owner I talked to who I look up to and admire, and she had hired a CEO for her company just because she didn't feel she was ready to take on that role. And I think she just had her first baby and was pregnant with her second. And I remember having this conversation with her on, how do you do it, right? How do you manage all of that? And I kind of said to her at that moment, it's um, a CEO is a position, it's a job you hired someone for. There's structure within that job, and it needs to be manageable and designed in a way that you can live a healthy, successful life, and it's got to have boundaries and balance, especially when your business has been around for 50 years. So that's structure and that's design. So you don't need to come in as a CEO or owner and feel like you need to give it 14-hour days. You really need to build structure and just kind of, what is the word? My gosh. Structure and shoot, well, it just passed me. But back to my point is the design of infrastructure is really where that's going to hold you together. So with this is where I want you to go through your system right now and check when a call comes through, how quickly do they get a response and what does that look like? When a text comes through, same question, email, same question. And ideally, what it needs to look like is when someone comes through your funnel, they get all of them. They get a text, they get an email, they get a phone call. And the way we design this out, that's an automated system that it's not relying on you manually to go out and click a button, call, or do something. We want that in place. So that's kind of entry level. We don't need you to do the same call over and over again. We can build that out. So that's those first two. And then from there, have a clean pipeline. Is it all organized? Is it tracked? If they responded, if they booked something, if they're on the calendar, all that needs to be automated. And then from there, triggered for your team to know who's doing what. Project managers, service providers, all of that needs to be organized. And then from there, keeping your customer informed. So those are workflows and AI agents that we implement to get those running. Some of my customers are just working with CRMs without AI agents. Either way, I would just recommend going through this and really understanding if 100 customers came through or leads came through your funnel today, what's going to break? And then let's start there before we spend money on ads. That's my advice here. And then second, we're going to go through the systems here, the five systems that protect you in spring. So that's that workflow. You got the instant lead capture, wherever that's at, either social media, your website, your SEO campaigns, ads, wherever, just that lead structure. And what does that workflow look like? So they get a follow up in 5 minutes, clean pipeline, automation, reactive, and then we have re-engagement campaigns and nurturing campaigns for ongoing. I mean, I've had where we build some out that are even 5 years down the road. Actually, 10 years is the longest one we have. And it all comes down to your service, the length of your customer's journey. Um, some customers it's uh, instant a few times a day. Other customers, it's say you're selling a roof, that's not very often. That's the 10-year system we have with our customers, and then it's every year follow up. But that's what needs to be built out here, and just kind of think about that long term. Don't get overwhelmed in this place. The most important part right now is the initial ongoing. That takes a little more work and strategic. Don't get too overwhelmed in that area until you have the time to do that. But right now, focus on leads and what's currently landing in your hands. The goal is to hold on to everything as long as possible without wasting your time on it. So having a system in place. Um, so those are those five steps there. Let's go through the first one here. Instant lead capture, why it matters in springtime, especially. Um, every call, every form, every message automatically logged, no exceptions. That's the goal here. Do you have that system in place? How is that working for you? And just really be honest with yourself and ask those questions. Spring really exposes those cracks in your system. Um, you know, m- you know, just go through that. Inquiry, no lead follow through. I've seen this so many times. I mean, especially in the construction industry. We are really good at going out and killing the dragon and dragging it home. But long-term, consistent nurturing of a relationship is feast and famine. And that's really the reason why we've built this system is to come alongside you as the sales rep, the project manager, business owner, and support you and kind of catch the things that fall between the cracks there. But yeah, so we do that with here's what we'll check the voice. Voice AI as chat messages, intake forms, everything needs to be available for when your customer comes through. So if they're interacting with your AI agent at 2 a.m. in the morning, because that's when they have time to do that, you want to have answers for them. You want to get them on the schedule and solve their problem. That's the goal. You don't want to give them more work to do or have to reach out at another time. I mean, we're all really busy. Um, and so the goal of this is to be there when they're ready or when they're inquiring. If the lead isn't captured, it doesn't exist. Automation protects the revenue your marketing already is paid for. So that's the goal. So let's go through system two. This is the 5-minute follow-up rule. Speed wins the job, in my opinion, and it's proven out there. I've had so many customers come through, not customers, even clients. The more recent one was looking for a house cleaner, and I think he called about 6 people before I gave him a referral. But he was a little frustrated, like, how many people do I need to call? Are don't they want a new client? So that's the frustration, especially when the customer has the time right now to solve their problem and go invest in hiring and finding the right person. You want to be the quickest. So that's immediate and acknowledgement, every inquiry, every service, um, revised, assisted, professional response. Um, no human is required at this stage. Um, Especially when they're moving that quickly. You want to answer their questions, give them the information they need, clear next steps, get someone out there to build the relationship. And then consistent tone, that's professionalism throughout the follow-up, the touch points, everything. Um, so that's what I would ask to go check out. What does that first initial 5 minutes look like after um, a customer reaches out? So. And then system three, this is clean, visible pipeline. This is so important to keep you and your team organized. From new contact, estimate sent, follow up, sold or scheduled. That's a very generic pipeline. Each business has unique stages, just depends on if you need any vetting at the beginning or um, are they the right fit in a sense, but also depends on your SOPs, what type of service you provide and what does that look like. So that's one of the things we customize when we work with you. But at this point, just look through your system and see is that tracked clearly? Are you able to open up your CRM and see the stage of each customer and is it accurate? Majority of the time, most of these are not accurate. And so it trains you to not trust your CRM. And then you're in there not unknowing who you need to reach out to today. What are the top priorities versus second. So that's an area that I've seen spring really bring more awareness around to my customers is cleaning up your pipeline and not retraining, but really getting this mindset around what's top priority and helping keep your day organized, especially when you're having your sales reps and team. We want to have more efficiency with your time. Um, Without a clean pipeline, I mean, your reps feel overwhelmed, it's exhausting, it's burnout. Um, Estimates get forgotten. I mean, just things fall through the cracks, which is what we try to prevent. Um, but I can't stress enough to have it accurate. I mean, I would say 90% of my customers that not my customers, but the audits that I've done recently, 90% of those audits, the pipelines are incorrect. So This is really frustrating for your team to come in and try to figure out what's top priority. So I'd stress that. And then, the goal is that they could show up and have full control and know exactly where their time is best spent for that day, day to day, even hour to hour, and nothing falls through the cracks. That's the goal. So next, system four is the automation and customer update. This is this is huge. I mean, customers want to know. They want to be informed, especially in today's day and age. They are we're in this instant gratification, and if you can't provide an estimate on the spot or day of, I would really look at your systems and try to figure out what's the bottleneck to resolve that. Um, this is a huge, wow, I keep saying every area is so important, but um, this one it's frustrating for customers to have to wait for, I won't say it's frustrating. They move on to the next person. We got to move fast and we got to have the right information. It's got to be clean. It's got to be a clean story, presented well, professional, and fast. And that's the goal. So estimates, like I said, day of on the spot or that same day is the goal. Job schedule, transparency is so huge right now. I mean, not right now, always. If you can do it right and correctly, you're gonna just soar above the competitors. So communicating with the homeowner or client on every step of the project while you're waiting, all the details, time, date, what to expect, just pre-planning. And that really comes down to your each service you provide and thinking about that from start to finish and keeping your customer informed. So that's what we'll recommend you having you look at, and that's like a workflow. So here at Her Drive AI, I can kind of show you guys the back end, but that's what we'll build out when we're doing automations and workflows. Um, that's that touch point. Well, I'm not going to waste your time going through that, but basically, here's a quick, rough idea. New lead, appointment booked, appointment no show. This is just a small little workflow. Um, but the idea is to keep your customer informed, keep your team informed, and everything's accurate when you're showing up, so you can um, prevent having to wake up putting out fires. Well, try to prevent that as much as possible. We are human, that life does happen, but we want to prevent those as as we can. And then, yeah, so, crew dispatch, project completion, all the details. And then the fifth system is the reactivation. Um, this is like I was talking about, once you have these could be quite a few different workflows, but unsold estimates, keep nurturing that relationship, continuing to reach out to try to segment on how what they were interested, what happened, and have that conversation. So these are some fun campaigns we can put together. But essentially, once you've already paid to get this customer in your, I guess, real house or in your hands, you want to hold on to that as long as possible. So there's quite a few things we can trigger here. Each business is different, so this takes some customization on understanding your product, your customer's journey, their decision making, and building out workflows and systems to help speak to those. If they're unsold, not right now, dropped follow-ups, high return ROI. I mean, these are all campaigns I'd recommend looking into and integrating and building out for your system, for your season. We want to build all this out before you get into your busy season. Old leads become revenue systems really quickly when done correctly, especially if you've already spent the money to build brand identity and um, having them be aware of who you are and trusting you. So usually if there's a decision here where it's not the right timing, you can maintain that relationship and still bring them in. So what happens without these systems? Team burnout is the biggest thing. This is where you see, I mean, a revolving door in the industry. If their systems aren't done right, if culture is not right, they go somewhere else. I've seen that. We've all seen that. Um, Close rate drops, margins are tighter. The owner is having to react on everything and be more hands-on, which that's time consuming and can cause burnout, obviously. Um, that's what we're trying to prevent. Um, with these systems, of course, response is instant. Leads are more predictable. Teams have clarity. You have more control, and owner has more control. So it's just smooth sailing. That's the goal. When it's done correctly, smooth sailing, and then from there, fine tune and tweak as the industries change, as we keep evolving and growing. But essentially, you don't want to have to keep rebuilding the system every spring. You gotta invest into doing it right, and that does take time, but we're here for you. Hustle versus infrastructure. I should have put a picture of me of where I was 10 years ago. I mean, I think we as sales reps can get delusional sometimes, um, and think that we're invincible and can do anything. But that will only go so far. You really have to, I don't know, I've seen so many stories out there, but you really have to be strategic and smart. We are only getting older, and life isn't worth just spinning in circles on the rat race. The whatever the wheel is called, I forgot. But infrastructure is the magic. It really is where you can breathe and feel like you're making an impact, and your effort and your time goes a lot further and it matters. Um, you have effort, you push, things move, you stop, things stop. That is the most exhausting style to do business. Systems run, leads respond, pipelines update, communication flows, your business works with or without you. That's freedom. And that's the goal. And that's why I say I'm a recovering workaholic. This has really been the gist of how, oh, I'm running out of time here, how that's possible. Where most contractors get stuck. So response rate, tracking, communication, this is the wheel, the rat race wheel. And that's really what we're trying to prevent, and that's those workflows and infrastructure. I do want to walk you guys through our driven system. This is what we customize and design for your company and your team. It's really doing the work on understanding your full infrastructure of your business, your funnels, your SOPs, your business, and building that all out for you. And then from there, we kind of run it on either training you to run it and update it. Ideally, it gives you your time back and it supports your team. So it's lead capturing, automation follow-up, structured pipelines, customer workflows, sorry, revenue production. That's the goal. Um, this is the driven system. What it actually does, it replaces manual admin work. Every task that currently lives in your head, your text or your sticky notes gets automated. And that's huge. Um, Predictable, repeatable, zero effort execution. That's the goal there. It supports your team. It makes you more consistent. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to skip through. Who's this for? Serious about scaling. It's really nuts and bolts here, but if you're serious about scaling, tired of chasing your leads manually, are ready before peak season. Those are kind of the main points right now, but that's if that's where you're at, I would be happy to hop on a call and chat with you guys through what this would look like and help you get this built out before spring hits. Um, yeah, so if you have any questions, I hope that brought some value to you. Really just taking, like I mentioned before, taking an audit on your current system, um, 5-minute follow-up on every platform, um, email, text, phone calls. Those are kind of the biggest places. Um, Yeah, and then I'll send this in the link here if you guys would want to do a call with me. I would love that. I also would do a free audit for you just to walk through your current system if there's anything I'd recommend to update right away. And happy to help you guys out. All right, well, thanks for listening. See you guys on the next one. Bye. Aren't you going to be late to school, Lovey? I mean, work. Okay.